Good afternoon, everybody, or evening, I should say now. It's me, ReaperSteve. I'm joined by the one and only Jammer. How are you doing, Jammer?
Yeah, I'm okay. Just had some food. How about you?
Not bad. I had spaghetti bolognese tonight. It was quite nice.
Okay.
I was sat there at my work from home desk earlier. My mum was downstairs because she works in school. She's off at the minute for 6 weeks holiday.
Nice.
And I was like, what's that smell? What's that amazing smell? And I went upstairs, and the first thing that I saw when I walked into the living room was just my mum out the kitchen cooking spaghetti bolognese ready for this evening. So it was like perfect, you know what I mean? It's always nice when you get that point in the day when someone's cooking dinner for later on in the evening and you're like, tonight's going to be a good night. Speaking of good nights, we're in for a good one, I suppose. This is going to be our one and only match for the evening, hopefully, after the other night where we covered two back-to-back. This is our last match of August for ESEA Intermediate for Team Tan, and they've got a hungry Hungarian team. I couldn't help myself. I had to throw that in there as a pun. And you've been looking at some stats for them, so I'm going to let you crack on and kind of give us the tale of the tape.
Yeah, so their record so far is 3-4, so they have a losing record, but we can't read too deep into that because there's still a lot of matches to be played. And they've played Nuke twice. They've lost both of them. I believe the scores that we were discussing before were 16-4 and 16-7.
Yes.
So, quite dominant losses. But then again, Tan have lost Nuke 16-12. So if I was a betting man, I perhaps fancy Tan's chances.
Yeah, I mean, this is a map that we've watched Tan play on previously and perform extremely well. I think I'm not going to say if all the stars align, so to speak, but if everything goes into alignment for Tan, we could be seeing quite a decent map from them. I'm not going to use my age-old saying of Nuke, and it's one of those sort of maps where if you don't win that first initial push with pistol and you don't win the following two rounds after, you're kind of screwed as far as I'm concerned, no matter what side you're on, essentially. But it's like beating a dead horse when you really go back and forward over it, but that is essentially what this map is like. You can get punished very, very quickly on Nuke by quite an aggressive team. We saw that actually happen with Tan in their first match that we covered this month. From my perspective, though, looking forward into this game, I'm interested to see what we see coming in from freestylers. I think again, he's always going to be a player that we want to watch out for. Pommy as well, also. We caught up the night before last and watched the last couple. Well, actually, we managed to watch the entirety of it, didn't we? Thinking on it,
pretty much. Yeah,
Thunderbolts game, I think it was. Or was it the?
That sounds right. I'll scroll back.
No, it was the Thunderbolts
No
game.
respect?
It was. They've changed their name to Thunderbolts Gaming now.
Okay, well,
from No Respect. Anyway, it was them. It was Sis and
Turkish
Cypher.
side,
yes, yeah, exactly. When we were looking at the way that the way that the guys were playing in that game. And kind of the recap of it, essentially. Pommy was your kind of heavy hitter, same for Mister, and Freestylers was there kind of middle of the table as far as KD ratios are concerned, as far as scores are concerned. But, I think he had like 22, 21 kills, something like that.
Yeah, 21 kills, 88 ADR, so second on the team.
Yeah, exactly. So, definitely a good force to be reckoned with. But again, I feel like with Freestylers, it depends on the Freestylers that turns up on the night. If he's playing quite loose and he's quite happy with himself, you'll be extremely playing extremely well. Same for Ollie in a way as well, I suppose. We do tend to find that Ollie will have rough nights where you'll be bottom of the leaderboard and you'll be bottom kills and you'll kind of struggle with it and struggle on through. But we have other nights where he just goes turbo intensive against players. I remember last season we covered a game of theirs on, I think it was Overpass actually, and Ollie nearly enough 30 bombed. He was just playing. He was really vibing with the play. So I'm hoping that we see like a revitalization from Ollie. I've spouted enough crap now. I'm gonna let you talk for a second.
But yeah, actually, like rounding things back to Nuke and how these players play. It's interesting to note that Shaney's stepping in for today. I'm not sure if that's for Mister. I think that's usually what happens because I think Mister has missed a couple of games. I don't know why. I'm not going to pretend to know. So
no.
Hopefully
we can speculate to accumulate, can't we? But we're not going to speculate.
Hopefully we see a good performance out of him. He is technically the highest performer at 85 ADR in the squad right now, on the server at least. I think we're doing knife round with 4 players on TAM, but it's not the biggest deal.
I mean, yeah, it is what it is, really, isn't it? We saw this happen the other night as well with Yar, weirdly enough, I think it was.
Yeah, it was
so
against Incognito.
Incognito, yeah, exactly. We went with one player down, but I mean, sometimes one player down in a knife scenario can actually benefit you. In this case, it's definitely not going to benefit.
Yeah, I've never heard that one before, mate.
I mean, no, I've seen it benefit some sides like that where they've played against each other, and that's been quite nice for it to happen. They've had like a alert player in the background.
Okay.
I'm still waiting for. There we go. Right, sorry about that. For some reason, the scoreboards had the teams on the wrong list, but we're good to go now. No, I've seen it before. Mainly in the ESEA, like Open.
Yeah,
I've never seen it in like professional matches, or like your intermediate and main for ESEA. I've seen it before in Open where a team has gone, no worries, we'll go one player less, and having that one player less in the knife round has actually worked out beneficial for them in a way, because they've been able to kind of double up and buddy up on people. It's a really weird scenario to be in when you're one player less anyway, but
yeah, you
got to try and make it work to your advantage. I think we are still waiting on just the one additional player to jump in. It's either going to be Mister or
Ryback.
Not, or Ryback, or not at all.
Interesting.
Yeah. Okay. Do you want
to hop in, mate? The older game rust.
I mean, I'm happy to. I'll jump in if they need an extra man. I'm there. Just give me Ryback's login details, and we'll get this sorted. You know what I mean? I definitely won't transfer his knife out or anything like that. It'll just be for CS and nothing else. There's a pause in play, so this is the obvious reason why it's going to be like Ryback's maybe having some tech issues or something like that. I can't remember if we've discussed this before with the pauses, and I cannot remember for the life of me if ESEA allows tech pauses. I can't remember. I remember me and you looking back through the rules to see if there was something mentioning like tech pauses, and you're only allowed to have X amount of tech pauses before they get sus.
I think it's like the region of like a 15 or 20 minute tech pause, but I think that might be total, so I'm not sure.
Yeah. I don't know. That is actually another one that I'm gonna research it again, and I know that I'm gonna research it. I'm going to go, oh yeah, I remember that now. I mean, and then me and you will be literally sat here in like 2-3 weeks time, and I'll go, I wonder how long the tech pause is allowed for. Ryback is actually in chat. He says, I'm away today, Mister is playing, but he's having Steam issues. Oh, okay, got you, yeah, I got you. No worries at all. Well, I mean, we're in no rush, me and Jam. Rafi, just to chill here and wait for you guys. We can continue to talk absolute nonsense. Speaking of talking absolute nonsense, I wanted to talk about this the other day with you, but we didn't get a chance to because of how quickly we ran through the 2 games. What are we thinking about this Twitter announcement? Obviously, we and you had our own little discussions about the number of UK orgs that were closing down, and then all of a sudden you're like, okay, here we go. This is the new look to UKCS. How do you feel about it?
Yeah, I think a lot of people going into it were very confused, and they were like, "Is this the apocalypse of UKCS?" I think I even tweeted that out at one point.
You did, yeah.
Yeah, but I'm glad to see a bunch of these guys coming together and trying to make something bigger and better. It's obviously going to be like a big mix-up, and whether they're ready, to take on the helm and take on a much bigger project when they're used to being the head honcho, is another matter. But honestly, I wish them the best of luck. I know a couple of those guys, not like very well, but I know them decently well enough to wish them well. And I don't want to say I don't want to say too much. I'm just going to leave it there.
I know. Yeah, okay.
I don't want to say too much.
I mean, from my opinion, at least, anyway, my opinion is that I know M&J through playing CS with him for a number of years. Me playing it poorly, of course, and him playing it far better than I will. I met most of the team guys that you had playing for him throughout, Insomnias, and I was fortunate enough to go see him back at Epic. Not last year's Epic, the year before in October. I had a chat with him when he was doing commentary and stuff like that. We've known each other for quite some time. So, Horus is a definite. It was a definite shock to me when he pulled the plug on Horus, but it kind of had an inkling that it was going to be for a bigger thing or a different kind of avenue to push down. Audacity. I've worked with Audacity way back when I first started casting CS. Really, really nice guys. George is amazing. George is one of the guys. I met him at Insomnia after casting for him for a bit, and then after casting for them for a bit, I met him in Insomnia. Met up at Epic Land. We were having drinks together. Really, really cool dudes. All of them. So I was kind of shocked when I saw that, but it kind of made sense as well. And you're like, okay. But then you look at some of the other teams, like UMX. UMX went through a massive roster change. Or lost the entirety of the roster essentially, and you're like, okay, can see that happening. That makes sense. Socially, didn't call that one. Peak, Krem is a really good dude. I think you and I both agree. We've worked alongside him and worked with him in the past. Peak closing its doors, that wasn't something I kind of expected, and the same for EFY as well. Electrify Esports, that is. I didn't kind of expect those to kind of close up. So I was a little bit shooketh, not going to lie. There was a minute where I was going, oh my God, we're not going to have any teams to cover for ESEA going forward. That's 3 teams that we've covered in the past for ESEA, and they're all closing their doors. What the hell is going on? And then you look at yeah, exactly, bro. Yeah, 100%. And then I kind of see the next day tweets, and I'm like, okay, this is it's too obvious for it not to be something like that. To be a conglomerate is what it actually is now, but not to be a joining of forces in some way. John mentions in chat, John, the owner of the president or prime minister of EsportsWales. I can't remember what your official title is, John. Head honcho, the chief, the big boss. Says too many cooks. I mean, I get that as well. I think the way that they're running it is slightly different, though. And I'm eager to see how they run it, and how we get to that first couple of games, that are tournament based, because that's going to be the big selling point for them. I feel is having a team that is dominant in tournaments, because UMX were dominant all last year.
Oh, they're live.
They're live with 4. Yeah, I think they've run out of tech pause.
Well, that's unfortunate, but it's the case we're in.
Yes, it is. I think Yar are playing Site Astro, but they're not being covered, unfortunately. It is Tan this evening. We've given too much love to Yar, and I don't want to riot in the Discord.
Well, Tan, they've kind of spread out and dispersed, and that kind of makes sense, because if you're Academia Spirit, you might, angle in towards trying to take some aggressions, realizing that there's probably a hole in this T side, but it's just going to be fairly passive from both of these teams here. There's not much utility to speak of, and there we go. First blood has been drawn. Ollie and Feastar has been taken down. 2 crispy one-taps from Maxi, and that is the top-performing player from what I can gather for this squad. Sitting at 89 ADR, so if he's going to perform like that, it's going to be a scary prospect for Tan. And just as I say that, Milu chimes in. It's all on Shaney. It is the sub, the stand-in, and, well, this is the perfect showcase for him to prove why he should be in the squad. He's going to have to push out eventually, but he's looking at his options, letting the time tick down. Does eventually move towards the door, and I don't think Milu saw him, but it kind of just seems like a matter of time. Cheney is out the door, and it's an awkward fight. They run out of bullets, but he gets down the vent, and he can get the bomb plant here.
He's waiting for that drop. Yeah.
That's so funny.
Shaney's just doing unlucky Shaney. Shaney was just doing the whole tactic of World War II France, just to lay as much as you possibly can, and then in the end capitulate, but just try and take as many as you can with you, and it just didn't work. Unfortunately to Shaney there, in fairness to him, but you got to hit those shots with the Glock. I mean, you've gone up against USPs like that. We just saw 4 clean headshots back to back. you've got to really be not a dominant force with the Glock, but you've got to be
Shining
really
light.
aggressive and a shining light. Yeah, exactly with it. He's with a Deeg now, though, so who knows? That could change things up a little bit. Maybe he's not a Glock player. Maybe he's a Deagle player.
Yeah, maybe. It does look like Tanner going for some outside aggressions, and I think that's a wise thing to do, especially when you've got no armor. You don't want to be tickled down with that utility usage. They did suffer an early nade, but these long-range engagements can favour the Deagles, although, as I say that, they've been warded off. The AUG is out. It's come to play, and there we go. There's the first Deagle striking. Maxi, he's going to fall. Hold my breath for a minute while I wait for Flashy to react to the player outside, and there we go. Palmy's been put down as well. It's just a matter of damage control here. If Academia Spirit can survive with 3 or more players, with the rifles up, they'll be happy.
Yeah, they will. Yeah, they'd be extremely happy, in fairness. I mean, Flashy's going to clear that kill up on Shaney. It is just left to freestylers. He doesn't have bomb control, but I mean, I say he doesn't have bomb control. He technically does, but he's not going to be able to go back for it. Flashy will finish that off. Takes a 4K for his troubles as well. Well, technically an ace, we should say. The -1 player taken into consideration. I just had a wonderful thought, and obviously from me to you, I want to get your opinion on this. What if these EsportsWales guys turned to you now, or turned to me and said, "Steve, look, mate, we're gonna need you to jump in on this game if that's okay." Would you be brutal against me, or would we be talking about Steve's a good player, he's just rusty? How would you react? You'd be brutal, wouldn't you? Let's be honest.
Look, I don't want to come out and be like, look, I'm just going to throw you to the wolves. But let's be honest, we're playing at intermediate level here. I think we're both going to be left in the trash. Or we deserve to be, at least.
Yeah, okay, I'll give you that one. Yeah. I've been known to take on much higher ranking players than myself in 10-mans and pot flash games in the past.
You know what? Let's see what you're made of. Next time we get an opportunity for 10-mans, we'll have to bring each other into the fold and see how we perform. We can report back 100%. To you guys in chat.
Definitely. It's been a while since we had a casters kind of showdown. I think that'll be the next message up in the Discord. Be like, I've been asked to throw down. Let's do this.
If there's another caster versus production at Epic Line or anything, count me in, man. I'm frothing at the mouth for that.
Yeah, 100%. I need to.
Tell me I get to shoot Jakey in the head. Yes, please.
I need to recover some lost honor from Gump, because Gump just basically took the entirety of the time to just ruin me as far as commentary is concerned. Oh, Ollie with a big first kill there on Tomatsi, the high fragging player, the dominant player, in fact, there for Akademia. Oh, Shaney. Go for it, Shaney, son. Oh. It was the underdog story that I really wanted to mature then. I really wanted Shaney to smash him out, and it just didn't happen.
Well, I mean, to be fair, Tan, they got to a really good position. They got bombed down. They got fairly even in terms of numbers, considering, they are, they were in a 3 versus 5 at one point. It's a bit unfortunate to lose that 1v1 in the end there, but commendation to them to even get to that point, honestly. Yeah,
exactly. I mean, they did extremely well. They did extremely well in quite an awkward scenario to be in. To get side control twice in a row like that into B site, or potential side control we had from Shaney in that first round even. To get it twice like that is pretty good going, in fairness, against Akademia. That AWP shot will be the first one to ring out, as Flashy will take down Freestyles again. A player that we're both kind of keen to watch out for in this match to see what he can do to really perform. But at the minute, he's kind of quiet with no one fought. Oh, that flash is too late, isn't it? That flash.
Yeah. They do only lose one player. I'm surprised they didn't take more damage there, but the rotations have even come through, so it's all on their shoulders to be able to get some sort of pick, some sort of damage. There's only a tickling onto Milu, but they at least have presence of lower now. It's just a matter of whether they can break through the fold and gain some advantages past the defense of Academia Spirit. There isn't that much of a presence on the lower side, but there's enough for them to have troubles. Shaney pushing through a smoke, and that's an important frag to get. They can actually breach into the fold now. He does double back, and this is a wise thing to do. Game sense playing out well, but he doesn't expect the second player, and that can be absolutely lethal. It is a 2 versus 2. Both the Tan players are low, but they're going to have to pull off something spectacular, just like shots like that. Ollie, he's got it all to do now. 1 versus 1. It's evened up, 5 versus 5, and this could be the round where they put one onto the fold, but just as he pushes out, Gacho, too good, too quick, and that'll be a 4th for Academia Spirit.
Yeah, it will be indeed. Well, I mean, again, 2 really good rounds from EsportsWales in the sense of the manoeuvres they're making to get themselves into B-side. You can credit them really highly on that, in that sense. They're taking full advantage of the extra space that Academia are given when the opportunity arises. I just want to run it back a couple of seconds ago, though. Milu, covered by the smoke in Decon, kind of just chilling in that room, waiting for that little bit of extra movement outside from double doors. He peeks out, swings, gets the shot onto it, and then immediately doubles back, ready to wait for Shaney to come for him. That's super confident play, that is. To know that there's a player right next to you, but you're still going to go for the frag anyway. That's one to watch out for us.
I think credit where credit's due. Academia Spirit are playing the same way 5 versus 4 than they are now 5 versus 5, and it's really, it wouldn't phase them, but it's not played into their mindset. It's just a matter of whether Tan can recover things, because to them, the game only started at 3-0. So they've got it all to do now. They do put a bit of pressure on the mini guy, and that's actually a really good thing to do, because now with some outside presence putting pressure on the mini guy, he's got 2 angles to worry about in one time. They can put some more pressure on the inside. Yeah.
Sorry. I was going to say, it gives you much more as far as options concerned. As soon as you push that mini guy back, you've got the option then to go, health or whatever, and try and get yourself down to Secret, or continue to push into A. And the push into A is happening as Pommy starts things off.
That's a really good entry from Pommy, and now they need to bound together, but Gacho, he's holding down this A site, and just as Pommy gets another entry, he gets taken out the round. That will be it. 5-0 in flash of an eye, but Tan, they're just not out of it yet. It's looking a bit less close than it was previously, but there's promising things, and I just want to continue to see them build into it.
Yeah, definitely. I think I completely agree with what you're saying. For Tan, this game didn't start until it was 3-0 down for them, realistically speaking, with the extra 5th player coming in the form of Mister. For them to then take 2 rounds back-to-back losses, but really take numbers from Academia in the process of doing it, it's still confident play.
Well, it's awkward on the pistol round. It is just Pommy left, and he'll be taken out. Unfortunate not to pick up a single kill there, and they kind of wanted/needed to at least hamper the economy to take down 2, maybe even 3 players. But we move on to the next round, and this is where it really matters. We're going to get a full gun round, and it's the first proper gun round of the match. There are 2 AWPs to face off against each other, so it's just a matter of where these guys meet.
I almost feel like this is that first crunch round, but not in the sense of the fact that it's the full buy from both teams, but this is like a really important round for Tan to win off onto. Yeah. Especially with the way that their economy's looking. That max loss bonus will only survive for so long, and I think this one they need to come out on top.
Oh, that's a nice timing. Pommy getting another entry, and that's a big kill to get. It's weakened this A site, and well, I kind of want to see them angle towards at least getting some B-site presence, because if they can sneak a player down vent or, angle towards outside smokes, that puts so much pressure on this 5 versus 4. They're going to continue to harass this A-site, however, and set up for I think that's the Furia flash. There we go. It's an A-site split. They're going to push out together. They take top hut, but they haven't considered Mini, and he can get some shots off, but only 1 kill falls. It is a 2 versus 4, and this is a great spot to be in if you're Tan, but Academia Spirit, I've got a feeling like they're not going to give up without... Well, actually, they are going to give up. I just realised they're going to run back to spawn.
Backing way out of there, yeah. I mean, it's a wise decision to make, especially when you're looking at Flashy. Look at the economy that he doesn't have available to him. That all coming into the next round is going to play quite handsomely if he can convert a few picks off it, like we've seen him do. EsportsWales Tan have done really well taking site control every single time. This is the first time it's converted into a round by, I get that entirely, but every time they've taken site control, they've done it with like well-placed aggression, it almost feels like. They've done it it's not been just like a chaos push to get into site. It's been, surgical almost in some of the senses, especially with those B site pushes. So I'm happy seeing that point go on the board from Tam. I think it's a well-deserved point indeed.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And just as you were saying, actually, they do look fairly comfortable on this map with their executes, pushing out with good timing and spacing. And that's really what you want to see, some good CS from this squad. It is going to be another gun round, however, because those two saved rifles can play into this one. It is going to be a low money situation for the CT side. So even if Tan don't win, if they get 3 frags here, that puts a lot of pressure on Academia Spirit's economic situation. And it might even lead to further round wins down the line, though there is a 1-for-1 trade outside. And, well, 1-for-1 trades always favour the T side, in most cases at least. However, it looks like Flashy might get an opportunity to pick up another frag, just as Tan sneak one player down, although that's a nice regression actually, outside from Academia Spirit. It seemed like they weren't prepared fully for what Tan had in store, but doesn't matter because we've ended up in a 2 versus 3. Now, Academia Spirit should be aware that these players were somewhat outside, bearing from the fact that there hasn't been pressure anywhere else. Ramp is open, but Mr. can't take advantage of that fact with the bomb, and, well, Shaney's dancing on the lower site with the AWP, so he's almost out of action until Mr. can get to a site or show some presence. It's going to slow down, however, as we reach the 30-second mark, and this is definitely a good thing to do if you're Tan. It means that Academia Spirit need to, gamble almost, and Shaney, that's it. He's activated, but he's going to show some presence, and Mister's trying to catch one off guard. That's the M4 losing the AK duel, and, well, they have a slight bit of presence on A, but the last 2 players from Academia Spirit are here, and they're a bit too well set up for that one. It is a 7th on the board.
3 kills though on the board for Tan in that round. Exactly as you mentioned, that's gonna restrict some of the purchases, and a double ult play coming out from Academia is going to restrict it even more in some ways. There's a lot of cash being spent into it. The utility is very good indeed as well. Also, Freestyles appears to be breakdancing throughout the entirety of the map for whatever reason. Yeah, you seeing that as well, I'm assuming, yeah?
Yeah, I've got it as well. I'm not quite sure.
Well, his ping is 53, so I have no idea. I think it's probably the best way of putting it.
I'm going to try a fix. I'll let you know what it is, if it will work.
I think I think it's actually just him, by the way, rather than us.
Yeah, it's the server. Okay. So in the console, if you type log address _add space 1 and enter that, it will freeze for a minute, and then you should be back.
Log address _ space 1.
Log address _add and then space 1. It should pop up in the lower bit. Just type log address and it will pop up.
There we go. Okay, yeah.
Is it back?
Server's back here. Yeah.
Oh, sorry, we've lost a round there. As I say,
have we lost a round? I don't think we have.
I was going
to say 7-1. Yeah, I was going to say.
Well, I lost the majority of it.
Yeah,
it seemed
yeah.
It was done and dusted. I thought Ollie was going to die, but he's making something of it. As I say that, he falls, and they only get 1 frag out of that, actually, which isn't ideal.
No, it's definitely not. I kind of want to pull back a little bit into the round prior to that last one. Shaney's positioning. So Shaney taking full advantage of the fact that the outside Opa, which I believe was Flashy at that point, is looking more dead towards getting that first pick, stopping the player from going into mini. He's able to get all the way across, get himself into secret, and then he's able to reaggress from secret. Really like that play from him, and I kind of want to see it more if he's going to be commanding the AWP for Tan.
Yeah, I think he will be, but it seems like some ramp aggression is going to come through, and this is a great time to do it, because if the double AWPs don't hit their shots, or if you can use it, we see the first fall in the form of Pommy. That's unfortunate. There we go. There's the second AWP chiming in. Ollie falls as well. And it seems like things just haven't worked out here for Tan. It is just Shaney on the Mac 10. He's got some utility, and he can make some space, but the round is very much in the odds of Academia Spirit's hands. That's not to say he's out of question just yet. He has some space to work with on the lower site. He does have the space to plant, actually. He won't be aware of that, however, because he doesn't have the advantage that we have of being able to see through walls.
Well, you say that, we definitely don't know, though, do we? No, indeed. Shaney's got some options to really play with. I almost feel like pulling back with the AK save would be a good idea, but realistically speaking, it's such a long time between now and then. He has been forced into a position to take shots at people. He starts it off, but I think Milu's going to catch him out here in the vent. He will indeed. I want to talk about Academia's kind of gameplay. We watched Maxi, sorry. My pronunciation's horrific. We watched Maxi kind of hold in B ramp alone, sitting at the top of ramp. He took contact immediately with a flashbang. He pulled back straight away, smoked himself into a better position, and just got out of dodge immediately. But also the way the rotation players come in from Academia, they put themselves in good positions every time. Speaking of good positions, that Molotov landed perfectly, and he will get a frag off the back of it. But it's Nomona and Flashy that are clearing the majority of the frags onto Tan. Oh,
that's a nice shot.
Yeah, we've seen Ollie be super deadly with a deagle before, so it's nothing new, but at the same time, it's not going to be enough to really convert much off the back of it. 2 picks in that round, though, will add a bit of extra cash into the bank balance and refill some of the coffers for Tan.
Yeah, it's somewhat keeping the CT side economy healthy. And, well, kind of getting to the point, Nick, where they just need to put rounds on the board. It doesn't matter at this point whether they're keeping the economy healthy, because if they can't get some strong wins, then, they won't have the rounds to work with on their CT side.
And that's the other thing of it. This is kind of going back to what I was saying at the very beginning. Unless you kind of win those first couple of rounds, like we've seen with Academia, you can get forced into this kind of awful mechanic position where you're on the back foot, almost constantly. Oh, Mister swung straight around and took out Nomina there. Flassy's able to retort, not with one, but with 2 against both Pommy and Mister. Maxi's able to get one as well, also with his AUG, but Freestylers will put him down in the end, and it's a 2v2. Shaney making a bit of noise outside of vent there to try and perhaps drag the attention of Flassy to the wrong direction. It's worked in a way, but he will get turned on, and Shaney will fall.
That really was a swing point in that round, and Freestylers brought it back into the fold. It's 50-50 again, 1 versus 1. He knows where he's coming from, he spots him out, but just tickles him with a bit of damage. Not going to be effective with those. He's warded off from the double doors area. Actually, the molly missed. He's got some space to work with, and, that smoke being dropped means that he has to be careful, but he wins it out. And that's a much-needed round for Tan. They should be revitalized from that, and they need to buy some more rounds with this now.
Yeah, they really need to build off the back of that. That was a huge round from Freestylers. Making some use of technical issues. Regardless of that, though, still put a point on the board, and that is exactly what we want to see from Tan at this point in time. They're on death's door, but they're still fighting through it. They're still clinging to dear life, and grabbing that extra round puts Academia in the worst possible spot as far as buys are concerned, because they aren't able to afford an awful lot. Flashy will pick up the first kill against Pommy, and there's another Molotov kill coming in for Gacho, this time against Shaney.
Oh, it's so low, but Flashy bears some witness and takes some kills just as he gets tagged down. Freestylers, though, he's going to try and get some advantages in secret, but he just gives the bomb away, and that's kind of the epitome of what's happened so far. Tan, they've been getting into good places, but they just can't do anything with it, and that round will fall to Academia Spirit as well.
Yes, well, indeed, and we head into the dying stages of the first half. Academia leading the charge 11-2, as you can see from the scoreline at the very top.
It's so unfortunate, because Tan haven't played bad by any means. It's just I don't want to say individual decision making as if they've made some bad choices, but it's like little details that have happened that have really cost them, and just honestly good setups from this Academia Spirit side. They've gambled in the right ways, and just like decisions like that example, like there's not really a world in which you consistently get an entry there, but it's kind of got to the point where you need to go for those fringe efforts to be able to put anything on the board. And at the end of the day, that's just going to be unconfirmed damage unless he gets a headshot through the smoke.
Yeah, this Academia side play extremely well. I mean, look at the discipline coming in from them. That noise control from the drop. Not to give any information away, or the least information as humanly possible. And it It's so nice to watch. It really is.
Even a gun trade from Tan there. I like that.
Yeah, same, indeed. Freestyler's not got a lot of HP to work with, so give him the gun, why not? Ollie, again, is just crisp with the deagle. Every single time we see him with it. Super dangerous and just well and truly on point. Shaney, however, chimes off in the distance. That's the key player from Akademia falling. Vlassi will retort through smoke, and it's left to Ollie with 2 HP and a dream.
Dream indeed. He's going to be walking out of hut, and that dream is going to end fairly shortly as he gets put down as well. And there's just seemed to be a lack of, X factor or a lack of oomph from that push. Akademia were just sat there waiting with open arms to take those frags, and it's a little bit of a dire situation now. 12-2 is definitely not the scoreline I imagined when we came into this one.
Definitely not, especially when we looked at Akademia's previous history on Nuke as well. 16-4, 16-7, the score lines in those previous games. They've lost them by quite a fair margin, but this is a polar opposite mode essentially at the moment as far as Tan are concerned. Shaney, however, is going to fight his way through and will pick up Vlassi for his troubles, but Milu is going to retort elsewhere on the map and take Ollie down. And it's 1-for-1 trades like that can help you in the long run, but Max, he's just perfectly in placement there for Shaney. That smoke is well placed, but just not good enough, and Freestyle is able to push through the back of it, pick up an additional kill in return.
Yeah, I feel like Tan, they've been in this situation a couple of times where the bomb almost gets cut off from the rest of the push. They're able to escape today, and, well, Akademia Spirit, they're hot on their heels, feeling some confidence from the round advantage that they have, but they should escape down to this lower site. Milu, he's hid behind the double doors, and Palmy needs to be careful here because he is lying in wait for that frag. It's not going to work out in just the wrong way, and I'm sure Palmy will be thankful for that, but when they watch the demo back, I'm sure he'll be kicking himself to leave himself in a vulnerable spot like that.
Yeah, definitely. The smoke is just that little bit too late in that respect for him to plant in such an open position, but then I suppose he's looking and banking on the fact that nothing's happened from that location as of yet. They've got no confirmed info. Palmy, you say he'd be kicking himself. Yeah, it really has. I was going to say, you say he'd be kicking himself, but I think he'll be sat there pretty happy with that round the way it ended in the end, in fairness to him. 12-3 even. If I could put my teeth back in, is your scoreline so far for the first half. I don't know where my English language went then at that point, but whatever. Anyway, we'll jump straight back into the action because, again, as usual, I go to transition to just back to me and you because we don't think they're going to be live, and all of a sudden it's match live again.
You know what? It's not our day, it's not Tan's day, but hopefully they can make it respectable here.
Yeah, exactly.
I'd say winning pistol is definitely a requirement, a must-need, if you will, to be able to make any kind of respectable scoreline at the top of the scoreboard. But it's definitely going to be Akademia's job to hold them off that kind of objective. There is some outside presence, but it is going to be the inner hit that's going to be coming through. And there we go. It gets activated from that Molotov. They do have a site control, and Ollie falls. He'll be the first to do so, but Freestylers answers back, and the rest of Tan are pushing in to support. And they're all falling, actually. And that is Akademia Spirit who are falling. Tan, they've done remarkably well pushing in together. It almost seemed like they're attacking from every angle possible, and it's just too much for Akademia to handle.
Seen that before with Tan time and time again. That first opening round of pistol, they tend to flood a site. They'll push in all in one, and they'll kind of overwhelm a team with the multiple options that they've got flying at them, and it works out very, very handsomely for Tan and puts another point on the board. And as you said, an all important point, that pistol round again, it's going to give them the more options going forward to be able to potentially buy up into 2 rounds after. We just need to see another one convert off the back of that, make good use of the round they've just won, and who knows, we could see a polar opposite of the first half. That is an awkward moment.
Yeah, that's one of those moments where you watch your demo back and you're like, I can't believe I didn't hear that guy, or I didn't have the game sense to realise he was there, but it's not going to matter. It's going to be a 5th on the scoreboard for Tan, and they'll be happy to put that one up there.
I think the wording that we were both looking for there is that's the demo you watch back and you go, I don't know how I survived it, but it happened.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be able to explain
moment.
myself. Yeah, I can't explain myself, but it paid off in the end, so who cares, right? No, yeah, probably will look back on that one and probably laugh at it. Shaney was able to get some damage as well to assist him, so it did help out in the long run. This is another pistol round coming in from Akademia, and Tan have kind of bought again into this round, but not bought rifles. They've continued the SMG pushes that we're used to seeing from EsportsWales.
It's the classic bonus round that we like to call. And they've kept these SMGs from the previous round. One, because, they do tremendous damage even against rifles. And two, you can see their coffers are almost even compared to that of Academia Spirit. Not to say that the CT side economy is going to be as healthy regardless, but it's always good to have some extra dosh in the bankroll. And, well, Ramp is going to be called into question regardless of their bank situation, and there's a first to fall, but Mister, you can help chime in and hem the bleeding for a little bit. Ollie and Freestylers have rotated in position, and they should say, I've lost English. They've stopped the bomb plan. That's important. There we go.
We're both having one of those moments. These guys are playing out their skin, and every time that you and I are trying to compliment them on it, they seem to do something else, and all of a sudden the English language just goes out of the window entirely. Tan have fought tooth and nail to get these rounds back. I mean, let's be honest. CT side is definitely the side to be on as far as Nuke is concerned. But if you perform well in that initial pistol round, and you're able to perform well the 2 rounds afterwards, you're in this sort of situation where you're halfway there. Like they are genuinely halfway there. They just need to fight on that a little bit more. The big concern now, though, is if Flashy gets that shot onto Ollie, this is no longer them, SMGs going up against pistols. This is AKs versus SMGs.
Yeah. We saw just how impactful that one-shot headshot potential could be when Tan were entering onto the A site. We'll see if something similar happens here, but Academia Spirit, they're happy to sit back and rest on their laurels with this man advantage, and it's definitely a smart thing to do because you can see just right there, Tan, they have to expend utility to gain some respect and buy some space so that they can recoup. It is going to be the outside smokes, however. There is one player in Squeaky, and that's very often the lurk play that happens in this kind of situation. 4-1 push, and the reason that Gaucho is there, in fact, is to be able to halt any vent rotations, although they're not going to go down secret. They're going to push outside, and Shaney's caught off guard with that flash. They can wrap heaven, and that's put A-site under much, much more of a question mark because Academia Spirit, they can be attacking from literally all angles, almost 360 degrees of angles to attack from. And that's made things very stressful for Tan. You can see Freestylers is getting tickled on the feet, and he'll be taken out of the round. It's just Pommy and Mister, and I kind of don't want them to go for this, but with the rounds that the way they are, they might try and angle in, at least try and pick up some frags. You can see Mister take the first, and he can upgrade to an AK. That will be beneficial for him to use, but I don't know if it's enough. It's not going to replace any players in the server, but there we go. Pommy's got another. There's a third, and suddenly it's a 2 versus 2. Pommy and Mister, they're making it work, and they're going to try and get some more angles onto the site, but time's getting low. They need to hurry up. They don't have much utility to work with. They're going to tap the bomb. That'll force a peek out of this Academia Spirit site, but they're so good for that, and that's a really strong round to win. A 2 versus, 4 or 5, but that was insane. Tan making it work when it shouldn't have.
Definitely, Pommy is the key in that round for me. I mean, look at those 2 picks that you picked up. That's 2 massive frags. That essentially allows Mister to go, okay, I'm good, I can drop down. I know that site is going to be clear to some extent. I just need to kind of focus my attention towards mini, maybe towards vent as well, just in case someone's going to pop up from ladder. But realistically speaking, I can drop and I get myself in a position to help out with Pommy as he pushes through into it. That tap on bomb, perfectly well played. Again, Academia didn't read into the tap. They went out to try and get that dominant control. They double peaked and they got double punished for it.
I think that's my favourite saying of the day, double peak and double punish. That is amazing. But Academia Spirit, they're going to get punished through the smoke as Shaney sees some feet lurking through the smoke. They're not going to be able to push outside with any antics this time, and the bomb has made it down, so it's just about how Academia Spirit want to link up their forces to close this round out. Tan, though, they've been putting on a very, very strong CT side so far. Academia Spirit haven't got a round on the board on their T side.
Yeah, they haven't. the rounds have gone that quickly that you don't really think of it like that, but they genuinely haven't. It's like they haven't been able to answer to Tan's CT antics. You know, they've kind of not fallen apart as such. It's very early days into the second half, but they just don't feel like they've got that control that we saw them have so well into that CT side.
They are very measured on their T side, and that's giving Tan the time and space to reconsider their options and set up in, more optimal ways. Although Shaney, he's going to be on a quick rotation, shoots in between them. You hate to see that, but he's good for the second, good for the first, and, well, it's just on to Nominoa. He'll get taken out of the round, and that's 2 AKs picked up.
Massive round, again. Just a humongous round from Tan. Again, it sounds really weird to say it like this. They're going up against these buy rounds from Akademia, and it's just like, it's flowing like water from Tan's perspective. They're like, they're able to combat against it quite effectively. They're taking fights on that we saw them take on in the first half and lose, and still come out on top of them. It just seems like Tan have found their second wind,
Yeah, absolutely. They've knocked them back onto a pistol, and Akademia Spirit they're not taking any time to get down to secret. They're going to push their way through, and there we go. Ollie, he's spotted them, but he's only able to take one at a round, and he needs to get a little bit more than that to buy some rotation time, but the rotations will come through eventually. There's a close fight. Palmy's able to come out on top, and as the bomb goes down, we're going to end up in this 4 versus 3 retake situation with that nade. It could have been so much more. There we go. Palmy winning a second. There we go. It's starting to align, Nick. It's coming together really well.
Sorry, I laugh because I just watched Shaney absolutely massacre one of the Academia players. Where Palmy is right now on your screens, Shaney basically stood above him and just shot him in the back of the head with the AWP at literally inch range, just executed, and then carried on with the rest of the retake there. That was, again, okay, there was a bit of suffering involved with Tan losing site control like that and allowing the bomb to go down. I think they'll kick themselves over allowing the bomb to go down, because it's awarded Akademia that extra bit of cash to be able to buy as much utility as we see them purchasing into this round. But realistically speaking, they're going to be super happy with the way that retake went. It's going to pay dividends as far as the confidence is concerned from this side.
Yeah, it went as good as it could have done, but Akademia Spirit, they're going to push out onto A on a timing, and they've got 2 entries, but there's a third to find. There they go, they found it, and now the A side's fallen. It's a 3 versus 2 retake, and Shaney is going to have to retake with a AWP. It's not the spot you want to be in, but it's the spot Tan have found themselves in. Nonetheless, they're both attacking from the heaven side of CT, and, well, it's definitely an okay place to approach from. There we go, there's the first from Shaney. These retakes have been pretty good, but Shaney needs to consider there's another guy below him. That is Maxi. He's let him know that he's there, but unable to convert the frag, and now it's all onto Palmy. He's had some great entries so far, but this might be too tall of a task. The time is getting low again, and he's shooting some speckled shots, but they're not going to connect. I don't think he's going to consider Milu either, and there we go. That's the 13th for Akademia Spirit. That might have been the one that broke the camel's back, but we'll have to see, because Tan have another round to work with.
Yeah, they do. They've got some money in the bank as well. Shaney and Palmy built up quite a lot of cash in this second half. Through good frags and good. Palmy's just been playing out of his mind, in fairness. So they'll be able to afford to buy up quite a fair bit of utility to bring into round 8. It's where they can put it to use. I mean, that round didn't go to plan as far as Tan's concerned, but again, that was the first time that we've seen Akademia have a crunch round where they're buying weapons into it, and it's rifles on rifles where they've been able to make it work on T side. I still feel super confident in the way that Tan have been performing so far. They just need to not lose any more rounds. They have to convert these extra rounds in. Miller's
I really
dangerous.
like that. That's such a nice round from Akademia Spirit. Strats where strats are due. They've pushed onto the A site from Mini. The nice push through the smokes. But Ollie, he's come through the back lines, the vents. He popped up like whack-a-mole, but he takes all of them with him. A 3k to close out the round, and that's impact when you need it.
Massive, massive kills from Ollie. And that is just... That's exactly the Ollie that we were talking about prior to this match. I mean, literally the exact Ollie version that we were talking about. We watched him play last season. He had a wonderful season playing, very, very confident play, kind of swinging into fights that you wouldn't expect him to win and coming out on top. He had a shaky start to this map, but my guy's alive now. The Deagle has been working wonders for him. Shady, however, on the other side of things, with the AWP, has been playing exceptionally well into the second half. You'll get the opening pick on Demilu, who frankly has been a thorn in the sides of Tan for quite a while now.
Oh no, Pommy's low on ammo and he's going to be put under pressure. There's the first and he's going to do work with the USP. There's 3 for him, almost in for the 4th, but Freestyles will come in to save him. And, well, that's definitely a spot that you don't want to be caught in, but he's up to the task for that one.
What is going on, Jammer? What is actually taking place in this match? Pommy takes a 3k with the USP because you run out of ammo on his M4A1S. I think he'll be changing that out immediately to an M4A4 after this game, because that's a shocker of a moment to be in that situation. But yeah, I mean, even in that scenario, he's just happy to let the good times ride. Essentially, bring it on, and I'll use whatever weapon I've got available to put you down. 11-13 is your score. And again, to reiterate what Jammer said about 10 minutes ago, more or less, as we got into the second half, quite deep into it, Akademia have only put 1 on the board since switching sides. Tan have been all over Akademia every single round, bar from 1. This is exactly the kind of gameplay that we expected from Tan, and this is more in line with the scoreline that we both kind of expected.
Yeah, I mean, Tan, they're on the verge of evening the scoreboard up. They just need to get over the hill and take out Akademia Spirit on this round. They don't have the full loss bonus anymore, so if they can win this round, they should probably break the economy of this T side yet again, but it is going to be a tall task to break it, because the AKs and the AWP have done significant damage before, and it's going to be the A site again. There are 3 players here, but they've only taken 1 out, and Tan, they're putting up a formidable defense so far. There's 2 more players to find from Tan, but there is 1 trade coming through. There we go. It's just Flassy, the AWPer. He's been good so far, but this might be a task a bit too tall, and Cheney, he's going to have to dance around the box. It's all going to be on the timings, and he's given the jig up, he's given the information, but he just needs to hit the shot, and hit the shot he does. There we go, 12-13, Tan on the precipice of evening up.
There's your economy break right there. That is an economy breaking round. Look at the way that Akademia are going to have to purchase up into this one. They can afford to buy, 2 AKs potentially out of it, or they have the option of doing what they're doing at the minute, which is buy down to 2k, try and retain as much bank balance as you possibly can into the next round, because they're on the verge of drawing this as it is. They're on the verge of getting 13-13 on the boards. They want to make sure that if they do end up losing this round, they've got the money in the bank to take it back up to 14-13, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, winning rounds like this, they kind of feel like part of the course, but they're definitely deadly. And we've seen both the EsportsWales teams fall at the hands of the Eagles. So it's just about keeping their wits about them and maintaining the pressure that they've been putting on Akademia Spirit, because it's been working so well, and you'd hate to see them fall at the final hurdle, so to speak. So, actually, that's a really big kill. They know the bomb's there now, and they can hear the players dropping outside on Mini. They might not have the info that they're pushing up to heaven. Cheney realizes that they could be there now, but it shouldn't matter, because I think they should be having bomb control. It's not going to matter, though. It is the pistols so far, and, well, Nomin has got the first, but it's just a matter of whether they can get any more from this round.
I think even with that M4 drop, Tan could still potentially... Well, I mean, 4v3, the HPs the way they are, the no utility or lack of utility from Akademia, unless they're able to grab that smoke grenade from Ollie's body. There's not really a lot to work with.
As a caller right here, I don't want Tan to be sitting in this awkward, topsy-turvy, are they, aren't they situation. I want them to take the initiative. Although, he's just going to sit there and take some frags, so fair play to him, but... Yeah, what I kind of want to see from them there is take the initiative and push, whether that's a lobby crunch or, otherwise is up to them. But taking the advantages where they want is kind of what I was looking for from them. It is just the pistol loss, though, for Akademia Spirit, I should say. And there we go, there's another pause. I would be hesitant to say it's a Tan one. So, yeah, I mean, looks like Akademia Spirit are starting to feel the pressure.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Tan, we both know, are known for not pausing in moments like this. They want to kind of press on the issue. They want to push forward, take more and more rounds off a team like this when they're on the back foot so heavily. So I would argue, I would say, agree with you and argue the point that this is definitely, potential Akademia pause coming into effect to kind of break the timeline up, so to speak, with Tan. Give him a second to cool off, maybe, and allow Akademia that bit of a breathing chance there, because it has been round after round after round after round. It's been constant for the entirety of the second half, and it's been a constant one-way traffic from Tan into Akademia. This, however, is a massive round for Akademia. If they can pull this off, then that will take them 14-13, and Tan do have the economy to buy back in immediately afterwards, but you'd argue that they don't want to really be put in that position.
Yeah, they definitely don't. They're keen to keep the advantage that they've built themselves up to, being on the verge of getting. I think it's definitely gonna be the only lead that Tan have had this game, and they've worked very hard for it. Although, just as they were getting so close, Palmies are first to fall, and that's a big frag to take. Maxi actually has a lot of space on lower, and now Ollie needs to forfeit some space on ramp to be able to recover what has been lost from the death of Palmy. And now Akademia, they're setting up for this upper play, and usually we've seen Tan have 2 or more players up here, but that's not going to be the case here. It is just going to be Mr. and his friend Ollie to hold things down. There's the first, and that evens things up, but there's a little bit of info gained, and Akademia can push off the back of it. Oh, Freestyler's awkward fight, but he's able to get one and fall away. He's given him a shot for another, but not going to hit it. It is a 3 versus 3, and the A site should be falling. Shaney will fall, in fact, in the co-impotence, and Mr. he tries to adjust, but there's just too many angles to cover. That might be it. Akademia are on the verge of getting their 14th, and well, it would be a big round to get.
Yeah, massive. I mean, look at the economy they've got available to themselves to push into the next round, but if they didn't pull this off, Ollie's going to have to be very quick at getting these 2, and he isn't, unfortunately. Nomina is going to be the one to fall, but Matsuki will be able to convert the kill off the back of it, and we go 14-13. And again, that's the first time, in quite some time that we've seen Akademia put any kind of round on the board so far. We've had 12, 13 rounds now we're on to, and we've had 11 of them all Tan. Polls come into effect. I couldn't say who this is going to be, to be completely honest with you. After the way that round went, I would say it would be Tan to kind of like reset themselves a little bit, but I'd also say it would be Akademia to kind of
continue to break the momentum, right?
Yeah, exactly. To continue to kind of put a dampener on things from Tan's perspective. I hate the fact that I'm talking with my hands while I'm doing this because you can't see it. But at the same time, you know me and I know you when we've worked together on camera before, and you know that I'm moving my hands around to talk while we're doing this. So, you know what I mean? It feels like they're kind of like trying to put that stop in place. They want to, kind of make Tan sit back on their laurels a little bit and have a breather and then kind of relax too much into it. But time will tell, at least anyway, as we head into round 13, and Akademia have taken quite a lot of outside control so far. There is a player pushed up, and that is the Opa from Tan, Shaney. He'll drop immediately off the back of that peak, essentially, around red box. Flassy. Oh, how is Gacho there so quick?
Yeah, I think he snuck down the vent earlier on. None the wiser, though. Freestyles is going to push down and give up his life, and well, I kind of want to say the round's almost over and done with, and, well, they've not even planted the bomb yet. As I say that, Ollie will fall. Akademia Spirit checking all their bases and covering everything that they need to. They are on the precipice of getting match point, and, well, what a time it is to come alive.
Yeah. Save is the word of the day here for Palmy and Mr. They got 2 AWPs as well, so, I mean, I would imagine we're going to see one of them go in Shaney's hands. Freestylers has been pretty good with the AWP the last couple of games that we watched. He's picked it up every now and again. Don't really know though. I mean, why? If you can grab a rifle, I would say, and just maybe get the one AWP play into the back of it. But I mean, you're the coach. What would you be shouting at this point?
I think Tan they've not been playing like terribly predictably, but that up push outside, we've not seen it before, and it's somewhat predictable. Tan have been really good so far, kind of sitting back and adjusting on the extremities of the map and not being overly aggressive into the hands of Akademia Spirit, because that's the exact kind of thing that gave Akademia Spirit the advantage on their CT side. So I kind of want to reiterate the fact that, we knew what was working. Let's just keep doing that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Once again, I'd be inclined to agree with you, as usual, because, whatever you say, it's not like I'm a sheep and I just agree with you. It's just right every time, unfortunately, and I can't argue with you on it. 15-13 is the scoreline. 15-14 would be nice, but it's not. 15-13 is the scoreline. Akademia do go into match point, and it's dangerous territory for Tan at the minute, but they've got some utility to work with, a smattering of it at least anyway, and they've got decent positions. Again, it kind of feels like they've reset themselves back up to where they were before those 2-round losses. Yeah, they've got that 2-man split up onto Upper. They've got one watching outside. They've actually got 2 watching outside when you think about it in the long and short of it. Misters with Yorp on to ramp, and I believe that is Shaney that's Upper outside. Yeah, there you go. That's Shaney right there.
Mister's on an island right now, and Tan are happy to concede all this outside control. They're kind of operating in the blind right now. Pommy does have a little bit of awareness to look back and see what's going on, but they're so spread apart right now, and it's a far look from what we saw earlier. Although Ollie, he sat behind the vents, he's able to get one and reposition. There we go, it's all cut down, and well, in the blink of an eye, Academia Spirit have all fallen. It is just Flassy again, and this is really reminiscent of one of the rounds earlier. It's almost like a repeat.
Exactly like a repeat. It's just crazy how quickly Tan were able to flip the switch on Academia there. We go 15-14. Oh, hi. Oh, hello. Sashino, thank you very much for the raid indeed. We have alerts turned off, obviously, with the commentary side of things, but thank you very much indeed. If you are joining us, there is no delay for us to speak to you. There is a delay for the game, however.
Rounds. Yeah,
ESEA has the 1.5 minute, or 1 minute 45, I think it is, enforced delay. I don't think it's quite 2 minutes. Face it's 2 minutes, I know for definite. But anyway, stepping forward. 15-14 is the scoreline, and Tan have got every opportunity here to try and get this back to level peg and take us to a draw and put us into OT.
Yeah, I mean, I'm absolutely gunning for them to do it because they've played so well on their CT side. They just need to push it across the line and hold out that bit longer. We're seeing Mister actually take some fairly liberous aggressions here on ramp, and this is something that we've not seen from them before. Pommy's even behind to fake, the utility out, make some rotation noises, and, well, make Academia Spirit not consider this, but they are all outside, and that's going to render the lobby push useless for the time being, at least. And Gaucho, though, he's got an entry onto A, and that's going to pull some rotations out of Tan, but Mister can at least call it. It's clear. He can say, guys, there's only one in lobby. That's it. They're all down lower, and it's just about whether they can scramble down to that lower site in time. It all comes down to this, ladies and gentlemen. 40 seconds on the clock, and Academia Spirit are putting pressure on the B site. Tan need to wake up and realize it, but they might be a bit too little too late. They can start to hear it now as Academia Spirit let the jig up. Pommy gets the first, and he's going to have to do a lot more. It's not a multi-kill from him, and they're just going to rotate in positions now. It's a 3 versus 3 on the retake, 2 AWPs, but it's not the ideal weaponry. Some utility damage tickling through, but they're going to be forced through one choke point, and man, that's a rough spot to be in. They're going to sit passively for now, though, as they wait for the smoke to dissipate, and that's probably wise. They can split a bit wider now, and suddenly it's a 3 versus 2. Ollie, they've heard him in office, but he doesn't consider it, checking lower, and they need to get to the site. There we go, it's all on to the final, and there we go, overtime. Tan, they make it work when we all thought it was done and dusted. The first half was terrible, second half sublime, and now we're into overtime. Let's get it.
Let's get it indeed. I mean, jeez. Wow. What an absolute complete shift on what we saw from the first half. Tan have just played exceptionally well from the get-go in the second half. They've done everything right. Every single thing right that we can possibly ask them for. They've had a few shaky rounds here and there where they've allowed a little bit of extra space for Academia, and Academia are a team that are more than gladly take that extra space from Tan, but Tan have made it work. 15-15 is your scoreline at the minute. We will be going into OT1 momentarily. We're just waiting for the players to ready up in the server, and then we should be able to crack on for the rest of the evening. Again, thank you very, very much indeed for all the followers that are coming through. Thank you also to Sashino for the raid. I do appreciate it. I say EsportsWales say they appreciate it, of course. I just work here, and so does Jammer. And we try to be as unbiased as we can, but evidently we can't tonight because we're both kind of going, please, Tan, for the love of God.
Nah, I think it's time that we kind of put our stand and supported the team that's lining our coffers for once.
I'm in complete and utter agreement with you. I do think it's time that we kind of shed those colours and be like, you know what? Actually, we're all about EsportsWales here. But yeah, definitely 15-15. Not the scoreline we expected from the first half, but definitely the scoreline that we kind of anticipated into the second half. We hope for it, indeed. Like, you know, we were talking pre-game about Academia's experience on this map and how shaky they've been on it, but they've really put a good show in, and this is reflective of that good show.
Yeah, I mean, just as we hop into the first round of overtime, I just want to look back and consider, you know, this is absolutely why knife rounds are so important. Who knows what have happened if Tan, you know, started with 5 even. For those of you that just joined us, the first 3-4 rounds of the game, Tan played with 4 players. I can't, you know, help but think back to those rounds and consider what might have happened. But we are going to be ending up in overtime, and, well, Tan, they're going to be in an unfortunate spot, dropping a player early. It is Ollie. He's not had the best game so far, but he's definitely had some impact. You know, we saw him jump up vents earlier and get a triple K to shut down a round from Academia, so he is definitely a name that will be missed. However, it's up to the rest of Tan to make up the difference as they try and hold their angles, and that's a nice shot for Shaney to hit. He should be hitting those every day of the week, and he might get one more outside, but it's going to be close. It is Ramp, however, that's fallen so far, and, well, it's just up to Tan to get down to the lower site. Freestylers is going to be able to rotate fairly rapidly, and, well, it's just on Academia to cover their bases at this point. Oh, Freestylers, he's pushed out. He's got 1, he's got 2, almost spraying to the 3rd, but it's a 2 versus 2 now, and the bomb is yet to be planted. Nick, take it over.
Yeah, I mean, what a hero play coming in from Freestylers. He managed to take 2 on, isn't able to get the 3rd in the hands of Nomina. But, I mean, look at this kind of side control that he's been awarded. He's got bomb control as well. He's got 30 seconds left on the clock. In reality, he could potentially rotate off this side, and it feels like that's the kind of avenue he's taken the choice to do. He's going to have to make a lot of noise in the second, however, if he's going to get any chance of getting himself in towards A. And Shaney's, you know, standing by, ready to receive more or less. This will be an off up against AK. The bomb plant does start to go through, and Shaney's going to high noon him, and he will indeed.
The swag to pull off that, you know, in what's it called, animation. They swing out and double dig him. Yeah.
Do you know what? Oh. I used to play a lot of Overwatch. The high noon is a thing in Overwatch, and that has now become a thing in CS. That was perfectly played. Well done to Shaney. I mean, he pulls that first round of OT back in favour of Team EsportsWales Tan. For those who are new to ESEA, I always do this every single time, and Jammer hates me for it, but we do it anyway. 16,000 is the starting salary for all players. They buy down from 16,000. Resets after 6 rounds. You know the rest. I'm not going to go through the rest of it. Why not? I'll let Jammer's ears not bleed for one night at least anyway.
Well, we are going to see Academia Spirit take a slower round, and this is kind of the approach that they led into the half. It's what Tan was able to run away with, and, well, definitely bodes well. There is going to be a fake upper hit, and it's going to force some utility out of Tan, but they're moving towards ramp. Just as Pommy forfeits it, he'll spot them out, he'll rattle some shots off, but you can't get any more than that done, and, well, the B site has fallen. However, the rotation's fast as ever. They're coming through. Oh, they're unawares, though. Milu catching one player off guard. Freestyle is able to adjust, but not able to react to the second. And, well, Shaney, he's somehow gotten onto the B site, I think. I don't know when that happened, but I'm glad that he's there. He's dancing around the smoke. That will be how. And shoots 1 bullet through the smoke. Oh, fades away even. I don't know how he's managing to get away with what he's doing. And there we go, the fade back. The audacity on this man. It's all up to the... Oh, that's insane. Flassy hits a nice shot through the doors, and, well, we're even again.
Can we talk about Cheney just being like, I'm here in the middle of B site, who wants it? You know what I mean? Like, just like, right, someone want to come and kill me, or am I going to have to try and take as many of you on? And then he has the absolute audacity to re-peek on that door to take that shot. Like, who in their right mind would do that? And it's just typical Shaney. You know what I mean? That is just the way that it is. Not the best of rounds, obviously scoreboard related wise, but Tan will be confident in the way that they did a lot of hurt and damage to Academia in that round. Just need to see a little bit more momentum coming from him. Speaking of momentum, however, Milo will open things up as Ollie gets taken, and Gaucho is also on the good end of Shaney this time round. He'll get a headshot onto him. And we're in a 5v3.
We've seen some disadvantages be recovered from Tan, but this might be a task too tall. They are down 2. We did see the unfortunate event of Shaney, his barrel sticking through the edge of the vent there, and Gaucho will happily collect, but it is going to be the upper side, it looks like, being put under pressure. Freestylers needs to put up a multi-kill round, and he can't even get 1. That might be it. That might be done and dusted for the last round of this first half of overtime. The bomb will be planted. A 5 versus 2. There's nothing to save, so that's why you're seeing Mr. jump through a smoke. But Pommy, he's going to have to do something, anything that he can. It is just probably going to be a stat pad situation. But we'll be in the driver's seat to take you through it. He's going to see nothing up heaven, but it's definitely an advantageous spot to be retaking from, at least for one. I wouldn't say you can get a multi-kill from here, but there we go. He gets taken out in the end, and 16-17 is the end of the first half of overtime.
I wanted to say, if there's one player that you'd expect to be in a good position to do that, it would have been Pommy. But yeah, 1v4 retake like that with, minimal, actually next to no info whatsoever. I fear that's only going to go one direction. Unfortunately, it's not in Pommy's favour. 16-17 is the scoreline, as Jamin rightfully mentioned a moment ago, in favour of Akademia. And I mean, considering how the actual normal play had gone into overtime, I still feel super confident in Tan and the way that they can kind of bounce back on this. What I want to see though is some changes from what we saw initially on their T side. They can't go into this T side with the same mentality. They have to come out fighting, and they have to come out fighting super quick against like Akademia. Backing each other up on those pushes into sight. Making sure they maintain side control once it's been achieved. So it'll be interesting to see how they progress into the second half of OT.
It will be interesting indeed. And to play devil's advocate, both of these teams in regulation had atrocious T sides. There's no wayside about it. It's kind of, it might have been a shock to those viewers out there who saw the whole game and see, Akademia got 2 rounds on their T side. But it's Tan's job to now recover that situation, and there's an entry to do it. They've started off with 1 kill, and they need to get a couple more, but they're going to move down towards the B site from ramp, and it's Ollie who's lurking in this outside area. He gets taken out, and, well, that's kind of the lurking situation taken out of the equation. It's not the biggest deal, but it is just going to be the last stand on this B site, as Akademia, they set up fully for this B site retake. Seeing a flash being set up, and that's a nice one to take home for you guys and your pugs, but it is going to be up to the Akademia squad to push through with it. They are able to get past the initial choke points, and, well, they're finally at the cusp of getting to the site, but just as they reach the verge of hitting them, they get taken out. There we go, Pommy on a nice timing push. He doesn't expect the second, though, and he runs out of bullets, but the molly's tickling his feet, and it's just Freestylers, actually, dancing around in the smoke. He's just barely staying alive, and the time's ticked down too low. That's it, Tan have done it. Well done to them, merely picking up 4th, but it's all in vain.
Oh, what a round. Can we just... That was explosive constantly. Yeah, I mean, how mental was that entire round from both sides? I mean, Freestylers is explain to me this, okay? How is Freestylers allowed to be able to stay on site that long without having any kind of damage being taken to him? Right at the very end, he swings out from the back of the site and he's like, "Hi guys, I'm still here." I mean, he takes on 1, doesn't actually get the second, unfortunately, but still buys that additional bit of extra time.
Yeah, it's honestly just blow for blow right now, and I'm surprised to see that these teams are having great success on their T sides. There we go. Mister recovers just in time, spotting out the final player. That would have been awkward, but they avoid that situation and get out of dodge. It's going to be the lower site that's called into question, and Akademia Spirit, they've been remarkably slow in rotation so far, but they should have enough time to make something of this. So far, it is Maxi warded off though. The double up situation, actually, I just noticed it's not the ideal spot for a retake, but, well, they can make it work if you get entries like that. 4 versus 4 now. Bomb will just get planted, and it's on. Another final stand on this B site. Tan have it all to do, and all to do they will do. And it's going to be utility usage.
I was going to say, this is the kind of aggression that we wanted to see from Tan in their T side, and it's worked out quite well so far. I am seeing this as players are dropping left, right and centre. Molly will convert 1, and Pommy's there to save the day with the extra.
Oh. Mate, what would have happened if Tan had 5 at the start of this game?
I can't. If they had 5 at the start of this game, I cannot see a world where we'd be in OT. I genuinely can't. Like the way that they've been playing since they've had 5 stack. Okay, their T side was atrocious, but the site control they were taking, how they were taking site control, how they were getting bomb plants down, we couldn't explain it. And the retakes were looking really good from Akademia. 5-man stack, though, this is different. This is a completely different game.
It really is, and they've seemed to be revitalized in this overtime. Everything's reset, of course, going to this 6 rounds in an overtime, 3 rounds a half, and the magic number you need to get is 19. Tan, they're 1 round away from it, but Ollie's not going to live to tell the tale. He gets taken out early, and that's kind of all of the presence outside cut down because of that mist-thrown smoke. Now, that's unfortunate because it means that Academia Spirit don't even need to rotate. It's all for naught. It is going to be the upper side that's called into question, however, as Tan starts to put some pressure. The mollies go flying out. They're held off from a flash, and there's a nice entry. They need to get a couple more. Don't know if they consider Gaucho being here. They do spot him out, and there's the smoke push. It's a little bit too much to handle, and there we go. The next overtime.
OT2, let's go. Have I ever told you the story of how I did an OT6? John, we're billing you for 2 games. Just throwing it out there.
Yeah.
Would you get a message off him in about like 5 minutes time going, absolutely not in any way, shape or form?
Man,
I want to reiterate once again, I just don't see a world where we're in OT2 if they had 5 at the start of this game. I can't see it.
Yeah. Do you want to give a quick recap for the new viewers that joined us? You know, a recap of the whole game so far?
Yeah, I mean, essentially, Tan had not the best of starts. Unfortunately, they had one player drop that was having tech issues. That was Mr. That was unfortunately not able to get into the game initially. Just through Steam issues, I think it was, they mentioned in the players chat. So for the first 3 rounds of this game, including the knife, Tan played with 4 players. Academia were able to take really good early starts into that CT side. They pushed quite dominantly with the first 3 rounds. They took pistol quite cleanly, and then they kind of snowballed off the back of it. We had Tan then go back up to full strength, 5v5. They kind of lacked that flair, that last touch, so to speak, with some of the pushes that we saw from them in their T side. And then we flip over into CT, and it was just all Tan. And I mean, like, we saw I think it was about
6
rounds, six rounds in a row. Yeah, they took from Academia without Academia being able to even answer back. And we're not talking like pistol rounds. We're talking like full utility rounds. Just really, really laying the hurt onto Academia. And now we're looking at OT, and OT's just been back and forward constantly. This is one of probably the best games of ESEA I've watched for quite some time, in Intermediate at least, anyway.
Yeah, it kind of almost looks like a tier 1 tournament. Obviously, there's a few more mistakes than we're used to, but they're going to make do with what they can. And Pommy, he's not able to get the entry. He is traded, however, and ramp control has been lost again. It seems like Tan have found the answer. They're just getting ramp control time again. It's just whether they can hold off these B-site pushes. And Gaucho, actually, he's pushed through lobby very early. I don't know if Tan consider this. He might be able to get the bomb down in advance, but there we go. Ollie's going to fall with the AWP in his hands. Oh no, they've not considered the office. It is going to be Freestylers that falls, but he at least buys enough time for them to get the bomb down. It's up to Shaney and Mr. to hold off this 2 versus 2 now. Don't know how we ended up in this position, but they're going to have a tall task ahead of them. It is Flassie and Nomina, 2 names that we're familiar with, and they've been pretty good so far. It is going to be a slower approach from them, however, putting pressure and letting Tan sweat themselves out. They are going to give away their locations yet again, but I mean, that's not the biggest deal because they already gave away where they were coming from. Shaney, though, he's going to have to push through a smoke, and it's just going to be timing here. Oh no, he misses the initial frag, but it's Nomina just sat on the bomb. He lost all hope, and well, Tan get the first round of the second overtime.
This is insane, the way that these maps are going. I really want us to reiterate, and I want to reiterate. I want us to discuss this at some point. Maybe if we do a skybox of this game at some point, we'll have to get the demo for it, or work out another way of doing it. But just I really want to, just of overtime. I really just want to have like a skybox of Tan's pushes into B. They've been so smooth. They take that initial pick and then they just flood through, and it's like flowing of water. They're in sight, they're in, ready to go. But yeah, it's been just brilliant so far. Tan back in the lead. 19-18 is the scoreline. One you don't really get to say all that often, especially in Intermediate. But what it is.
Oh, there we go.
Okay, that's good.
I don't know how that works out, but I think Tan will be happy to take it. The rotations come through now from Academia Spirit. They are on a double up, so they're going to try and initially fight ahead of the push from Tan, but all 4 players are down here on lower. Maxi chiming in again. He could be the player that wins it for Academia because he's brought 2 into the round, and Mister, he's got 2 of his own. That's some lovely entrying. Namina can bring it back closer for them, though, and Flashy, he's going to spot out the last player alive. Well, he's got it all to do, and he's got a bit of space to work with. That's by virtue of the 2 versus 2. But if he can make it events, then he's got even more space. It is up to Flashy and Namina, though. They are going to sit fairly passive. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm just reading in my mind. I should be shutting up here, but go vent. Please go vent. Like,
yeah, just willing him.
Like, it's like when you're watching a film and you're going, don't go in that room, don't go in that room. Bomb will get planted on A site, however, as Ollie does the right thing, essentially.
That's the right thing.
Yeah, just the right thing. Don't know what it was. It might have been the praying that we did, and 2 minutes before we started praying, it somehow got to him, but yeah. He's in a good post-plant position here as well to hold this off.
Academia have a surprising amount of utility to work with on this retake. They are going to expend it fairly early, however, as it is an AWP and an M4 in a retake. It's not the ideal weapons. They are going to get close to the bomb now, and there we go. There's a molly on the bomb. That's it. He just won the round. There you go. Smart utility usage. Folks, keep your util and you can win a round with it, because Ollie's done exactly that.
Perfectly played from Ollie. Like, you know, we were willing him to go vent. Obviously, is a far more intelligent player than you and I, because he did it 2 minutes before we even willed him to go to the vent. Gets himself into good position. That post-plant position is perfect as well, especially for a 1v2 retake. You know, they're very limited as far as what options they've got available to them from a CT perspective, but you know, he's read into it lovely, and that utility is just bang on the money as well. 20-18 is the scoreline. Still, EsportsWales Tan in the lead. It's kind of nice to say that, especially after the way this OT has gone for the last 2 OTs and regulation.
Yeah, it's definitely an odd spot to be in, considering how one-sided these regulation rounds were. However, it looks to be returning to regulation dominance as 2 players fall outside, and Tan, they get flashed off. They're dabbing into their deaths as Milu can sweep up those kills. It is just Shaney out on the A site. He doesn't have bomb control, but it's a 1 versus 2, and if he was a bit quicker on the trigger, he might have been able to even it up. But he's got a minute to work with, and, well, he's got it all to do and recover this round.
Yeah, I value him going back to T. Yeah, he's going to go back to T. Yeah, I was going to. But what I was trying to. Yeah, give me ways out. Yeah, I put value on him going through T spawn to get back outside rather than pushing out through into A site into mini. He's just got no info on where Maxuki is. You know, so for him to do it this way, it does make a lot of sense, especially when he's trying to hunt down an additional player that's potentially outside. He is spotted, however, and damage is laid on to him. That flashbang will probably ring true and good, but I think it actually caught both players in the end.
Oh, this is a really nice crossfire. Well, they all have the info that they need, and Shaney's going to get dropped finally. Tan, they don't win the last round of overtime, but it seems like T-side has finally, been worked out by both these teams. They've won 2 apiece so far, and it's up to Academia Spirit to win 2 on their own to push it to a 3rd overtime. But I'm fairly happy with how Tan's playing right now, honestly. Yeah,
they've done extremely well. I mean, they've been going hell for leather every round, it feels, against Academia. Really biting back at everything that Academia throw at them, and the same can be said for Academia as well. They're both really well placed teams. Ollie is just taking his time, basically, like whiffing massively. USP was singing his praises for like the last hour and 10 minutes, something like that, and then all of a sudden he whiffs every single shot from that USP. Anyway, moving on massively. These players got to be tired by now as well. I mean, we're an hour and 37 minutes in the stream start. So they have been playing more or less non-stop. I think we had like a minute, maybe a minute half break in between the first half, second half in regulation, and we've had next to no time at all between first half, second half, as well as OT1 and OT2 into our current situation.
Yeah.
Tan to come out fighting here though, and good to go. Yeah,
honestly, I'm kind of glad that these players are taking a breather, taking some time to recover their water and perhaps pop to the toilet. Because one thing that is important for you guys at home, you need to stay hydrated. You need to perhaps even get like an energy bar, stay fed, and that will, allow these players to continue to perform at a high level. Maybe
I very rarely
looking at a smoke or two.
I very rarely do this for chat, because we don't tend to look at chat all that often, but we do with these ESEA games, because it's quite nice to see the community reacting off the back of it. But can we get an F in chat for Ryback? Ryback genuinely, he's put up in chat, what a game from the boys. Gutted I can't be there, being chain smoking my vape like a madman watching this. Can we please get an F in chat for Ryback? He is one of the Team Tan players. He would normally be in this game with the rest of Tan, but unfortunately isn't able to be there.
Yeah, I mean, we can talk about that actually as well. Tan, they're performing remarkably well, and as you're seeing here, Shaney, he's the stand-in right now. Ryback is unfortunately unable to play, and so they're playing, decently well enough, considering they're playing with the stand-in and whatnot. So hopefully they can continue this form, and of course, Nick, what's the magic number they need to get now?
We're not going to go there. 2019 is the scoreline currently, and I'll let Jammer lead us off with what scoreline they need.
I believe it's 22 is the magic
22 number. Yeah. My brain is like.
No worries,
it's been a very long day, people. Right, tomorrow I'm working 8:30 in the morning till 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It's my first day where I'll get a half day, and it's not even a half day. It's just 2 hours off. Leave me alone. Anyway, pushing forward. Enough me whinging about my normal life. 2019 is the score. Are we going to get to 2021? Who knows? Or 2022? Who even knows about that either?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think that's a metaphor we can come back to. The fact that coronavirus and we were all stuck in lockdown, and it seemed like both of these teams were stuck in lockdown on their T side, and then suddenly things are starting to open back up. Everyone's getting rowdy and wild in bars, and suddenly these T sides are performing. Let's see if they can continue to perform. However, Pommy gets put under pressure on the ramp. He doesn't have much utility to work with, but the bit he does have has been put to good use. That's a nice opening frag from Ollie as well, and that should be, one of the lurkers cut out of the equation. Not that Tan will realise it's not an actual lurk. It's in fact part of the main push, because this Academia Spirit side, I think, are retreating back to line up some outside smokes. We'll wait to see exactly what their plan is. It is exactly that. It's going to be the late outside smokes, and we've seen them do this to great effect earlier. I wonder if Tan will be in shell shock and leave this A site a bit weaker, because that looks like where we're going to be ending up. Freestylers, he spots 2 out, and that will be the bomb, so the information can be passed. Ollie can get the first, unable to get the second, but he's quick on the swivel, and unfortunate with that one. 3 versus 2 now as Academia Spirit gain some A site control, but Flashy, we've seen this time and time again. He's stuck on his lonesome with the AWP, and that's a nice shot from Shaney to win the first round of the second half of the second overtime. That was a mouthful.
That is a mouthful indeed. 21-19 is your scoreline, and one more round from Tan, and that will do it. Just gotta dig deep, go for gold. I don't know. I'm trying to think of all the other Olympic metaphors.
Yeah.
You got to dig deep, go for gold. Try to do whatever you can do to win it. I don't know. I mean, I think I've run out of metaphors to kind of throw at people at the minute.
We're approaching the final stretch.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, exactly.
Oh no. Well, Ollie unawares that there's more players there for the trade. He gets the first and tries to escape with his life, but he won't actually spot that much more else out of it as well. So that's a bit unfortunate for him. 1-for-1 isn't an ideal spot. What are they going to do here, though, Nick?
I was going to say, it's a good idea for Ollie to kind of pull back at that point. He gets the initial pick. Some would argue that pushing forward a bit more to give yourself a bit of cover on that right-hand side might be a better option, but realistically speaking, they've made no noise. That'll shut me up.
Putting on some flashy shots, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, he's been like that the entire game, isn't he, in fairness to him? It's no new thing. It's no new happenings from him, at least anyway. Pommy, the 1v3 gets the first out of it. Didn't stay down.
That round was okay. That's insane.
Yeah.
Flashy as you like, mate. What was that?
That pop flash is
lost
nuts.
My train of thought.
Yeah, I mean, that pop flash was something else, wasn't it? In fairness, it just popped over the top of the vent and then still managed to swing around in time to get the connecting shot. Flassy's a very good AWPer. I know obviously we can't see player stats for the entirety of the game. I would be very interested to see how this looks on the ESEA afterwards. Total kill counts and ADRs as it would stand after regulation and OT. That will probably be up on there tomorrow, so that's something to definitely have a look for. But that, I mean, chat are already reacting to it. The Hungarian Kenny S, like, I'd be inclined to agree, to be completely honest, with the way that you play that round out. And Ollie will be the first man to get contact. He'll get the first damage laid out. That's Nomia that will receive that damage, but no scope, straight through. And that is Ollie done and dusted into the molly.
I think it broke the demo.
I'm just currently standing here or sitting here looking at Ollie's burning corpse. So there we go. Yeah, fuck.
All right, there we go.
There we go.
We see
right.
someone new.
We are on someone new. Shaney is actually the man we're on new, and Gaucho will fall. Oh, quick as you like, Flashy there. Straight in with a frag onto Shaney. Freestyles is able to retort, however, and take Flashy down. And again, the demo is going, do you know what, boys? It's been a very long demo to run, so I'm just going to look at dead bodies constantly, and it's making me tab back and forward all the time.
Should we spec Milu? He's in the clutch.
Yeah, I mean, he's in the clutch. It would make sense to. He's got bomb control as well, but he's got no control over the position of Tan as they start to lay that early damage into him to prevent him from pushing into site too cleanly, and Freestyles will finish it off. What a perfect, and I mean perfect way to finish things off. And it is finished off, and we're not going to have a repeat of last time we had OT where we accidentally cut the game feed. It is over with. We're done and dusted. Jammer, what an absolutely unbelievable game in Intermediate for Season 38.
Yeah, that was an absolute peach of a game. Tan coming up clutch just where it matters most, and going from, I think it was 6-0 down to repeat that scoreline, going 6-0 up on their own CT side. It's just mirror for mirror, punch for punch, like a perfect game of CS. And I don't say perfect as in, perfect CS coming out of these teams. I mean perfect as in, what a viewing experience we just had. You don't get games like that every day, and honestly, I'm just so happy for Tan putting another win on the board.
Yeah, it was perfect. I really enjoyed the game. It was just non-stop, more or less. That is it, however, for us for August. We will be back on the 2nd of August now, which is a week today, for our next game lined up for yourselves. I believe it's a Tan game as well, if I'm not mistaken. But stay posted on the EsportsWales Twitter pages. Both teams have their own Twitter pages, as well as EsportsWales themselves. Keep an eye on that. You'll get all up to date as to when the games are going to be covered by ourselves, me and Jammer. We're going to be guiding you slowly throughout ESEA as the months go on. If you want to know more about myself and Jammer, both of our Twitter pages or Twitter details are up on screen for you to have a look at what we're up to. We're working next week, 1st of September, I think.
Let me check.
I like the way that both of us are going. Calendar, please load up. Yeah, 1st of September, we're both working. So you can catch us doing another tournament, in fact, for that. But otherwise, thank you very much for watching this evening. Jammer, any closing words for you before we shut the stream off and I can go to sleep?
Thanks again for the raid from my girlfriend, nonetheless. And hopefully some of you guys return for some more EsportsWales action. Thanks for tuning in, giving feedback, and hopefully we'll see some more Welsh wins.
Definitely. Thank you very much, guys. Take it easy, and I hope you all have an entertaining bank holiday weekend. Bye-bye.